Salem, Massachusetts. Halloween, October 31st. The whole town is in bloom with Halloween festivities. Houses decorated with jack-o'-lanterns, hanging skeletons, and graveyard tombstones. And, of course, kids running around everywhere in Halloween costumes. And, of course, people getting ready for the big Halloween costume competition. And everyone loving the holiday. However, there was one man who did not like Halloween. That one man being Jackson Pide, a local councilman that walked through the town with a frowny face, thinking everyone is silly, enjoying the Halloween season and the holiday, finding it a waste of time, as he has had not a good past with the holiday. He walks up to the town hall and makes his way into his office, where his receptionist, Mrs. Hatcher, says, "Good morning, Mr. Pide." "And do I have any appointments this morning?" said Pide. "No, sir, I don't think so." "Good, then I don't want to be disturbed." He then makes his way into his office, where he sits and begins working on his computer and stuff. Then a person, a local, comes in saying, "Good morning, Mrs. Hatcher. Is Mr. Pide in?" "Well, he doesn't want to be disturbed." "Oh, this won't take a minute." He then walks into the office, going, "Happy Halloween, Mr. Pide." "What is it you want this time?" "Well, you know why we're here. We want to, well, ask why you want to pull the Halloween, well, carnival next year." "Because we don't have the funds, so make the most of it, as this will be the last one this year." "Oh, come along. Halloween is a fun time of year where we get to dress up in costumes and, be whoever we want to be." "Yes, I know, and I don't like that. Masks hide the truth of things and the pain of things, and I just don't think it's healthy to repress emotions. Now, please leave my office before I call security. I'm not changing my mind about next year's Halloween." "You haven't heard the end of this. You haven't. Anyway, good day." Yes, good day." As the person leaves, another one comes in, saying, "Good morning, Mrs. Hatcher." "Oh, Daniel, what brings you here?" "Well, he's my old friend, and I want to see him, just, ask if he's okay. And, you know what he's going to say." "I know, but there's no harm in trying." He then walks into his office and says, "Good day, Jack. So, as you know, me and, Dana are hosting." "Yes, Daniel, I know what you're going to say, and what do you think my answer will be?" "Well, it's probably going to be a resounding no. So why do you bother asking me this?" "Well, it's Halloween, and I'm sure we all have our reasons to celebrate, and I just love hosting my Halloween parties, so please, just come by tonight, even for a drink. You don't even have to dress up, if that's what you don't want to do." "Good day, Daniel. Look, I know this is a difficult time for you, but it's a difficult time for me as well. Have you ever thought what Jake might want?" "Jake isn't here, is he?" "Look, you can't keep dwelling on the past and blaming yourself for this." "Yes, well, if it wasn't for me, he might actually be here right now." "Look, I'm sorry about everything, okay? And you're, your messy divorce with Winifred. Yes, please stop talking to me. Now, please leave. And, by the way, if you come back next year, I'm not just going to say no, I'm going to have you, well, a restraining order put on you. Fine then, I won't. But you know something, Jackson? You're a very stubborn man. Good day, Daniel. He then leaves the office, wishing Mrs. Hatcher a happy Halloween and making his way out. Then Pide comes out to his receptionist, Mrs. Hatcher, saying, "What have I told you? I do not want to see people today, of all days, and also I'm not seeing any appointments now. You know what I'm having for my lunch?" "Yes, sir. I'll go in and get it you around 11:30, so you can have it in time for 12. Good. And about today, yes, you can finish early to take your kids trick-or-treating or whatever. But you better be here earlier the next day." "Well, Halloween is one time. Well, it happens once a year, and, you are decent enough to let me have Christmas off. Well, Christmas is a different holiday. Time of cheer and stuff. Halloween is just gloomy and people parading around in stupid costumes." He then resumes working. As the day goes on, Mrs. Hatcher says, "Well, I'm going now, Mr. Pide." "Very well. But you still have 5 minutes. "Oh, well, never mind those 5 minutes. You may go now, Mrs. Hatcher." "Thank you, Mr. Pide. See you tomorrow?" Yes, when it's November 1st and this whole holiday is over for a year. God, I can't wait for that day." She then makes her way out and gets ready to go trick-or-treating with her children. Then Hyde puts on his coat and makes his way out to the office as he starts walking home. As the day is drawing to a close and the moon is shining in the sky, he sees children of all going around door to door, trick-or-treating and having full Halloween fever. And some young kids run past with toilet roll, and Hyde is very unimpressed, seeing teenagers in their Halloween costumes attending parties, and also the Halloween carnival going on in the centre of the town. He then walks home where he lives in a quiet neighbourhood, where he goes up to his door. There, as he approaches his door, he then sees on the door knocker the face of an old friend. The friend then says, "Jackson." "Huh!" as he's startled by this face. He then says, "Jake Moon? No, this can't be." He then shakes his head and closes his eyes, and then the door knocker is just that, a door knocker. He makes his way into his house and turns on the lights. He then pours himself a brandy and sits in his armchair and puts on the TV, flicking through stations, seeing that on the local news, everyone in the town of Salem is in full Halloween bloom, and even looking around and sees that there is a double horathon on one channel. Watching it, he gets bored and closes his eyes. Then the power cuts out. Wondering what's happened, he then goes to a fuse box to try and turn the power back on, but has no luck. Then his television goes on to static, thinking what on earth is going on. He then hears the voice call again saying, Pide. Come on, Jackson. Huh, who's that? Go away, said Jackson. He then sees the same face on the door of his old friend Jake Moon, who then makes his way out of the TV screen, like in The Ring. And he goes, no, I'm hallucinating here. I've had too much brandy. I'm losing my mind. You can't be here. Who are you? What are you? Oh, come on, Jackson, you know me. It's me, Jake Moon, your old buddy. Jake? Seeing Jake in a Halloween costume, dressed like a ghost, he goes, no, you died. You died 20 years ago. I know. Insane, right? I was dressed as a ghost that Halloween, and what do you know? I am a ghost. No, I'm going to say you made quite a life for yourself, huh? Councilman. You campaigning for mayor then next year? Get out now before I call the police. Relax. I'm not gonna hurt you. And I am real. What do you want? You better sit down. Then Jake goes all demonic, with his eyes glowing red and going monstrous, saying, "Sit down." He then sits, shaking in his boots, saying, What do you want? That's better. Look, first of all, I'm not here for a social call. I'm merely here to tell you that what happened with me wasn't your fault. And secondly, I'm also here to tell you that you're going to be visited by free spirits. Oh, good God, this is just like Scrooge, A Christmas Carol. Yeah, it's like that, but this isn't Christmas, so don't worry about that. You're quite a different person on that holiday. Anyway, no, I'm here to tell you that you're going to get visited by them. And I would treat them with the greatest of respect because, you know, you're going to have a good long look at yourself. And what, I'm going to wait for these spirits to come? You know, Halloween is now and it's going to be gone and everything by midnight. I know. So expect the first one by tomorrow. Tomorrow is November 1st. I mean, Look, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just here to warn you about this. Anyway, how do you know it's going to be November 1st tomorrow? Have you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day? What? Anyway, I better be going. You know, one night of the year I actually get to get around the place. What do you mean? Well, Halloween night and Christmas Eve are the only two nights of the year where the barriers between the living and the dead are at their weakest, and us ghosts get to roam around, unnoticed and unscathed, even acknowledged by the living, were that, you know, present. Then Jackson looks out the window and sees people walking around. Hold on, this is a quiet neighborhood. We hardly get any trick-or-treaters around here. Yeah, well, these are ghosts. And you can't see them. At least, you can't see them now, but we're all around you. I've been keeping an eye on you for years now, and I've been waiting for a long time to tell you this. It's the only way I can cross over, really. Look, don't beat yourself up about me. And I'm going to tell you, these journeys that you're going to go on, they may not be easy to look at, but you need to open your eyes. Goodbye, Jack. Goodbye. Then Jake makes his way out of the window and floats up into the air with all the other ghosts and ghouls as they then fade away. Then the window closes and the power comes back on. He then walks around the house, wondering what the hell's going on. He then decides to switch the TV off on all the lights and go to bed, and get a good night's sleep, thinking he must be dreaming. The next morning, Jackson wakes up, has a shower, his breakfast, and gets ready for work. He then walks through the town and notices that everyone is in Halloween bloom, wondering why everyone is celebrating Halloween, and all the events that were meant to take place on Halloween have yet to happen. He then looks on his phone and notices that the date says October 31st. Thinking it of as a case of deja vu and that he had a dream, he thinks nothing of it and goes to his office at the council house, where he's greeted by his secretary, Mrs. Hatcher, and also starts working. And the same local person comes in and asks him about the whole Halloween carnival being pulled from next year, stating that he won't change his mind about it, and bids them good day and tells them to leave. Then his old friend Daniel comes in and says, "Happy Halloween, Jackson. Yes, I know what you're going to say, and no, I don't want to go to your Halloween party. Please leave now. And I don't want to hear what you got to say next." "Oh, it's like you were prepared for me this time," said Daniel. "Very well. I know when I'm not wanted. I guess this is the last time I'm trying to get through to you." Then he tells Mrs. Hatcher, "And yes, you can leave early, all right, but be here all the next day. You ask me every year. I feel like this has already happened. Then again, I go through the same motions every year." He then starts working, and then as the day draws to an end, Mrs. Hatcher goes off to take her children trick-or-treating, and of course Jackson makes his way home through the town that are all celebrating Halloween. He then comes in and pours himself a brandy, but then decides against drinking the brandy and just sits in his chair and puts on the television, skipping through the stations that are broadcasting the Halloween events in town. Then he sits and falls asleep. Then the power cuts out, and he wakes, looking at the time, seeing it's only 9 p.m. He then feels a cold chill. Then, in the kitchen, he hears a cackle, like an old hag. "Come on in, Jackson," said this voice. Seeing mist come from under the door of the kitchen, he then opens it, and there he sees a green old hag standing by a cauldron with a robe and a hood on, cackling, going, "Ah, I've been expecting you, Jackson Pide." Hold on. I had something like this happen yesterday, and oh my god, it's real, isn't it? I mean, I've not even drank any brandy. I mean, is this a nightmare? It's not a nightmare. I am the ghost of Halloween past. Halloween past, so you're the spirit whose coming was foretold? Indeed I am. You're a witch? Of course. I was a witch once a long time ago. And yes, now I am the ghost of what was. Why are you green? Why are you the colour you are?
Beauty was never important to me. Now come along. I have much to show you and little time to do so.
Okay, what's gonna happen? We're gonna jump on a broomstick and fly out of here?
No, we're going to look into my cauldron.
Yes, how did you get that into my kitchen? Where's my table?
It's all right. It'll return as normal when we're done here. Come, look into my cauldron. Look. Look as she waves her hand over the boiling liquid in the cauldron.
As he looks inside, he sees a view from his past, and then he finds himself all of a sudden in Salem. Halloween 1997.
Do you remember this place?
Yes, I do. Where are we?
You mean when are we? We're in the same where.
Look! Then, all of a sudden, people appear, and it's a normal Halloween night as kids run around trick-or-treating, all collecting candy. Then Jackson notices himself dressed as a little clown. He then says, "Wait, I remember this. These are my friends. Jake Moon and Daniel Skelton."
Yes, one of them whom tries to honor your fallen friend. Anyway, look. You see you're having fun collecting candy, aren't you?
Yes. This was always my favorite part of Halloween. Then, Jake and Daniel ask Jack,
"What's the matter, Jack?"
"Of course, your parents... Here, take this candy bar from me."
"Yeah."
And Daniel also hands him another candy bar, saying, "Hide it in secret. That way your parents will never know."
"Thanks, guys."
Then, Jackson comes home, where his parents are going, "Have you got the candy?" "Yes, Mom, Dad." "Good, give it to us." They then empty the bag and throw the candy away. Then Jackson looks in a bit of a sad way. The spirit then says,
"They never let you have the candy, do you?"
"No. Even when I was old enough to go out with my friends, they still denied me candy. Looking at myself there, I'm only 11 years old, and all the kids get to go home and eat their candy, but me, I have to hand it to my parents and they have to throw it away. All because my dad's a dentist and my mom, she always put me on a strict diet. I could never eat anything with too much sugar in.
But of course, you snuck up to your room, washed your face and got ready for bed. And that's when you enjoyed the candy that Daniel and Jake gave you."
"Yes. They were good friends. Looking out for me, always."
"Well, you know one of them still is. Come, let's move even forward in."
Then Jackson looks and sees himself in a school hallway. Then a bell rings. All the students in their Halloween costumes are walking around the hall, and then Jackson sees himself, now a teenager. He then says, "All right, I'm so hyped for tonight. I know. It's gonna be good, isn't it?" "Yeah,
as Jackson hangs with his friend Jake. Then Daniel joins them, all of them having fun and going to a Halloween gathering. There, Jackson sees a girl. Of course, I remember this night. It's the night I met Winifred, or as her friends like to call her, Fred. Never liked that name for a girl. Always called her Winnie. And that's when your friends encouraged you to go and talk with her? Yes, I did. He then sees his young self approach Winifred, saying to her, "Hi, I'm Jackson." "I know. Oh yeah, you're Winifred, right? Or Winnie? Well, my friends call me Fred, but no one's ever called me Winnie before." "Yeah." God, it went so well. I really loved seeing her. I mean, I was 16. Yes, I can see. And you formed a relationship with her, didn't you? Became more than friends. Those were some good years, and you had many good Halloweens together. Then Jackson sees himself one Halloween when he turned 17 and another Halloween having good memories, seeing all the fun he had with his friends. His parents not approving of his Halloween enthusiasm, but finding that as long as he wasn't eating candy, he was all right. But always behaved himself when it came to alcohol. Then, on the Halloween when Jackson was 18, he kissed his girlfriend Winifred goodnight, and him and his other friends, Jake and Daniel, walked with him. Daniel then said, "Well, here's where I go. Good night, guys. Good night. Happy Halloween." Oh man, we're so jealous of you, man, how you got yourself a girlfriend like that. Hey, come on. You might meet somebody nice in this life or the next. Yeah. Say, could you walk with me a little more? It's getting dark and, come on. You're 18, man. Why are you scared of the dark still? I'm not scared of the dark. I just think, just get to the corner and you can make your way home. Yeah. They then see a car drive past with some more younger teens drinking irresponsibly and joyriding, hitting mailboxes with bats. Well, I think I'm going to be good here, so see you tomorrow, Jake. You too, Jackson. Wait, said Jackson. I remember this. I don't want to see this next part. He then goes home, and then he then says, "Please, I don't want to relive this." Then Jackson falls asleep in his costume. His parents then wake him up, telling him to get up, as the police are there. He then says, "What's going on? What have I done?" "It's nothing you've done," said the policeman. "It's your friend, Jake. He's dead." "What?" There were some younger teenagers joyriding, and they weren't watching where they were going, and they hit him, and he didn't make it. I'm sorry to wake you in the night and tell you this, but I thought you should know." Young Jackson then broke down in tears, feeling responsible for it. "You know, it's not your fault, Jackson. It never was. You can't go blaming yourself.
I know, but I wanted him to walk with me. If only I'd just let him go home.
Then Jackson then sees himself a couple years on. Halloween 2008. Look, I'm 21 now. I mean, I'm working my way up. I need to focus on my work. I still don't know why you can't just put all that aside and go to, Daniel's Halloween party. I mean, he wants you to meet his girlfriend. Look, Winifred, I'm getting to that point where I need to stop this party lifestyle and focus on my studies. I mean, I got to be the best. That's all you ever seem to be putting forward these days. Your work. Why don't you ever let off some steam? Look, I'm sorry, okay, but this is important to me. But I love you, Jackson, said Winifred. I know. But if you can't let me do what I need to do, then I'm afraid this relationship can't work. You're breaking up with me? Don't put it like that. Fine then, if that's what you want. Goodbye. Of course, you got with her and then you split up with her. But you then had an on-off relationship. Yes, I did. We married in the December of a few years later when we were both 25. But then came Halloween a few years back. Jackson. What? I know this time of year isn't easy for you. It's not easy for me either. But then why are you bringing this up now? Look, please, put down your work and come to Daniel's Halloween party with me. It'll do you the world of good. Jackson, please. Then Jackson takes off his ring and says to her, I want a divorce, Winnie. What? I'm sorry, but you've given me no choice. I'm a councilman now. I need to think what's best for the town. But I love you and you love me. I know. I love you, but I can't make this work anymore. I'm sorry. Well, if that's how you feel. She then walks out of the house in tears, crying. Then Jackson says, no, go after her, please. Why are you showing me this? Said Jackson. This is the very reason I hate Halloween. I lost a friend. My marriage fell apart. Just go, spirit. Leave me be. Of course, my time with you is nearly but done. But these are shadows of what have been. You cannot change them. You can only learn from them. I'm sorry, Jackson. Well, as I said, my time with you is about done. Good. Leave me. He then sits down and starts to cry. then finding himself in his bedroom, where he lays down and tries to go to sleep. Then his alarm goes off, waking him up, noticing that it is October 31st once again, saying to himself, well, here begins another same old day.
Jackson gets ready for the day ahead, walks through the town as he sees the same old routine as he saw before, goes into his office, and before Mrs. Hatcher has a chance to speak, he says to her, yes, you can leave early, just be here the next day all the earlier, and I don't want to see anyone today, unless I have 2 visitors coming. You do? Yes, I have 2 people coming. Just send them straight in when they get here. Then Jackson sits in his office. Then the local comes in going, good day, Mr. Pide. So, anyway, as I was saying about, yes, you can keep your Halloween festivities. I'm not cutting any funds, okay? Really? Yes, really. Now please make your way out, and we can talk no more of this. Thank you, Mr. Pide. What's got into you? Nothing. I'm just trying to be decent. Ah, Daniel! You're right on cue, as he comes straight after the local. Look, I do wish I could attend your Halloween party. I really do, but I'm a very busy man. Maybe next year? Next year? Well, yes. I mean, I can't this year. It's too last minute. I have work to do, but please don't be, insulted if I decline this year, okay? And have a drink on me. Goodbye! Oh, you're in a better mood today, Mr. Pide. It's usually a miserable day for you, Halloween. Yes, Mrs. Hatcher, but, I just feel different. By the way, how about you finish at lunch today? What? Yes, go home at lunch, be with your family, and never mind about the earlier the next day, just come in as normal. Okay, Mr. Pide, thank you. Happy Halloween. Yeah, all the same to you, all the same to you. As he sits in his office and sighs relief. Then he finishes the day by walking through town. He sees some local kids. Some teenagers throw toilet roll at him, saying, please, I'm not really the joking kind, but just don't make too much of a mess with that toilet paper. I see what you do with the trees. He then bumps into a small kid trick-or-treating and goes, here's $5. Go buy yourself some candy. What? Yes. I shouldn't take things from strangers. I'm not a stranger. I'm Mr. Jackson Pide. I'm trying out for mayor next year. By the way, be sure to spend that money on good candy. But I need to go to your house. Yeah, my house is not busy, okay? Goodbye, kid. Happy Halloween, etc. God, I can't wait to get through this one. He then returns home and sits in his armchair where he waits patiently for the next spirit to be known. Then, by the strike of 9, he then hears something from outside. He sees that it's all lit up. He then hears a voice go, Jackson! Oh, Jackson! Come in and know me better, man! He then opens the front door, and there he sees his front lawn all decorated with Halloween decorations. Fake cobwebs, fake spiders, hanging skeletons, fake tombstones, a mist machine. And then he sees the second spirit, a jack-o'-lantern, with a ghostly body, saying, "Ah, Jackson, welcome! You're a jack-o'-lantern? I am a good spirit of Halloween. I am the ghost of Halloween present, because now is a gift. Oh, what a joyful time it is, Halloween. Halloween and Christmas are great holidays, but I am the sole spirit of Halloween." "You're quite enthusiastic. May I ask why you have a pump? How you're alive right now?" "I am a jack-o'-lantern. I'm the spirits of all that is. Oh, all joyful and stuff. I assume you've met all my siblings." "Siblings?" "Yes. Oh, all 2022 of them." I don't think so. That's quite a big family you have." "Ah, yes, I've never met my siblings. Anyway, come. I have much to show you. You took the liberty of decorating my front lawn. Oh, yes, this is all the Halloweens that you've denied your friends and everyone. Now, here, grab my robe." Okay." He then touches the spirit's robe and sees himself in Salem, where he's in the heart of the town, witnessing the Halloween celebrations. So we're in town. Of course, 'tis Halloween night. See all people around. He then sees people and also the Halloween costume competition, where he sees a group of kids winning prizes for their costumes. Then the young adults take their turn in the competition and they win first, second, and third prizes. And he also sees people apple bobbing, having toffee apples, and people playing tricks and treats on one another as he sees everyone in Halloween having a good time and enjoying themselves. He then looks and says, "This is actually quite nice, like a whole town coming together. I, I don't know how I've never taken the time to look at this properly. Of course, it's been a long time since you enjoyed yourself on Halloween, isn't it? Putting your work first, trying to make budget cuts to all of these festivities that bring the town together." "Yes, but, money isn't, as essential to things and projects that we could do to improve our town. But it's always nice to have a little fun. Come on, I got more to show you." He then sees a neighborhood where kids are all going door to door in costumes, trick-or-treating. He then sees Mrs. Hatcher and her husband. "Ah, Mrs. Hatcher. She's taking her kids." "Yes, of course." Her three children, one dressed as a pirate, another dressed as a fairy, a boy and a girl. And then Mrs. Hatcher says, "Where's your little brother?" "Coming, Mom." He then sees him in a wheelchair, dressed as Professor Xavier from the X-Men. "Oh, what's wrong with him?" "Oh, he's very sick. Of course, it's not cheap when you're, well, low on health insurance. I didn't know this. But he's dressed as Professor Xavier from the X-Men. Yes, he's not bold by choice either. But he'll be okay, won't he? Won't he?" Well, my time is the present, not the future, but, I don't know. I don't tend to look that forward, if I'm being honest. Come,
I have more to show you. Pye then sees himself at a college Halloween party of people dancing and having fun, playing Halloween games,
Spin the bottle, apple bobbing, and drinking alcohol. All these youths seem to be having fun. Of course they are. Halloween is the one night of the year you can put on a costume and be whoever you want to be for one night. Isn't that great? I used to think so. I guess I've spent so long dwelling on the past, I've never really bothered to acknowledge the present. I know. But here's how the whole world is celebrating. Come, look into my eyes. See the burning flame of Halloween. He then sees around the world different cultures celebrating Halloween. Britain doing trick-or-treating and having Halloween parties. He then sees Mexico celebrating Days of the Dead, and how other religions and cultures celebrate the holiday of Halloween time. He then says, wow, you really opened my eyes here. Where are we going now? Here we are. He then sees himself in Daniel's house. Daniel? He dressed in a Halloween costume as a clown. He enjoys himself, seeing everyone apple bobbing, having fun, party food and everything. Then Daniel's wife says, "What's the matter?" "That's Jack. He was very strange today. He always turns down my invitation, yet he says he might come next year, but couldn't tonight." "Really? What got into him?" "I don't know. This time of year is never easy for both of us. I mean, he's riddled with the guilt of what happened to our friend Jake, but he can't go on blaming himself." "I know. I guess I see that now." "Oh, Jackson," said the spirit, "you need to let go of the past. I'm sure your friend, he has forgiven you for everything, and it's not your fault." Try telling that to his parents. He then sees Jake's parents at the party, going, what's the matter, Jake? You thinking about our son?" "Jake. I'm sure he's here in spirit now. Aren't you, Jake?" "Yes, I am." "Jake?" "Hi, Jackson. Yep, I come here every year. My parents can't see me, no one can, but I make the most of this as I can." "Oh, Jake, you're probably celebrating Halloween in wherever you are now, son." "If only Jack could attend." "I know, I wish he could too." Winifred then walking into the kitchen, dressed as a witch. It's a shame he never does anything with himself. I mean, we said at the funeral it wasn't his fault, but no good dwelling on the past. Past is past. Still, let's have a drink to Jake. To Jake. To Jake. I really appreciate that, guys. By the way, didn't I already say, Jack, I forgive you? You do. But it's always been difficult for me. I've never really took the time to see what a good thing the present can be. Of course. But like I said, I forgive you, buddy. Thanks, Jake. Then, the spirit, with his jack-o'-lantern head starting to decay, he then says, "Come along now. My time here is getting short." He then walks through the town of Salem and says, "What's happening to your head? It's like a rotting pumpkin now. My, my time on this earth is very brief. It ends this very night, only for my next sibling to take my place next year."
What? Why do you think I said I've never met my siblings? Look, I am all rotting away. Yes, but don't go. You've actually opened my eyes here. I can actually see the error of my ways, kind of. So you'll change, will you? I can't promise that. I mean, still, I work for the town council. I got to think what's good for this place. Not just for Halloween, but all year round.
Yes, of course.
Then, Jackson sees two children. Who are these two? They're children. Children that are just lost souls that died one unfortunate Halloween night back in the old days. It was a great dark time. Polio got them both. Still, they travel with me and always have to celebrate Halloween as the ghosts they are. Then,
the spirit's pumpkin jack-o'-lantern head continues to rot away. He then says, "I leave you now with the next spirit. I would treat him with the greatest of respect. Goodbye, Jackson Pide."
He then takes Jack back home to his house. As his whole pumpkin head then rots away and shrivels, his robe body then drops to that, a robe, before fading away and disappearing. He then looks at his alarm clock and it goes off as he's ready to relive the day again, that is, October 31st. Only this time, he doesn't want to go to work.
He makes a phone call saying,
"Mrs. Hatcher, I'm not feeling very well today. Please tell them I won't be coming in, and take yourself home." Okay, said Mrs. Hatcher on the other end of the phone. Jackson then goes downstairs and waits patiently for the next spirit. As the day goes, it then strikes 9 o'clock. But nothing happens.
He does, however, hear a knock on the door, and he opens it, where he sees a little boy in a skeleton costume with a pillowcase that he holds up to him, saying, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't have any candy. Goodbye." He then closes the door behind him. And then, when he turns around, he sees the same boy again on the staircase. Startled, he then goes, "Oh! Oh, wait a minute. Are you the next spirit?" The little boy skeleton in his mask nods his head. "So you're the ghost of Halloween future. Okay. I know your purpose here is to do me good, so I'll accompany you. Lead on." The small boy in the skeleton costume then takes his hand and points to a door.
"What? My kitchen? You want me to go in there?" The little skeleton nods his head, saying, "Why aren't you speaking?" He then puts
his finger to his lip.
What, you don't talk? The little boy shakes his head, acknowledging his answer, but points to the door. He then says, "Okay, fine, I'm going in."
He then opens the door and sees himself in Salem, where he sees the town with no Halloween decorations. Leaves still falling from the trees, but nothing else. He then says, "What's going on here?
Is this Halloween in the future?"
The little ghost nods his head and then points to a house.
"What, the Hatcher's house? You want me to go in?" The skeleton boy nods his head, and he then points as he goes into the house. He then sees Mrs. Hatcher sitting down in tears. Her two other children going, "Mom, are you okay?"
"Yes, I'm okay.
You know, Timmy's in a better place now."
I know. I just wish we had more money to make him get well."
Then Mr. Hatcher comes in, saying, "All right, kids." Honey, kissing her on the head.
"What took you so long?"
I thought I'd stop by his grave. You know, Halloween was his favorite time of the year. I just wish he could be here again. We had that little Wolverine costume for him this time. He loved the Marvel Comics X-Men.
But I'm a happy man because I have you two and your mom.
I just wish Timmy was here now. Oh, no. This can't be. Why? Why did this happen? The spirit then points. It was, "What? Where are we going now?" "Okay, I'll walk this way." Okay. He then sees some people in his office saying, "Mr. Mayor, please, you said you wouldn't cut the funds. This town isn't Halloween without the celebrations."
The mayor then turns around as Jackson sees that it's himself, the mayor.
"Look, I said a lot of things, but how else would I get your votes on the election? Look, this town needs better funding for other things. We can't go wasting it on holiday celebrations. But you're not afraid to spend it all at Christmas time. That's another thing. I'm cutting the budget on Christmas celebrations. Also, you can get a payday out of it, I see." "Yeah, well, what do you know? I'm the mayor. You voted me in, and I can basically do what I want with this town. Now, please leave before I call security." The locals then walk out in disappointment. He then sees himself going, "No. Why are you showing me this? I don't want to be this man." He then pours himself a brandy and looks out the window. His future self smiling at the town, thinking, "Finally rid of that holiday here. I guess now I can move on." He then sees the spirit pointing again. This time he sees himself at a local school where kids are not in costume and there's no Halloween decorations around. Everyone is just getting on as normal. Some teenagers saying, "Can't believe the mayor has banned Halloween from town. This is like the witch hunting capital of the world. I know, the mayor's so stuck up. Still,
We'll just have to go to another town and have our Halloween celebrations.
Then the spirit points again, this time showing him his friend Daniel and his wife and Winifred. It's going to be quite boring this year not being wearing costumes, as we'll get fined.
Surely he can't do this, said Daniel's wife.
I'm sorry, Dana, but he has. Kind of that power got to his head. Then Winifred says, let's try and talk some sense into him. He then sees himself again in his office, smug and enjoying that there is no Halloween celebrations going on. The three of them try reasoning with them, and he says, look, I am not undoing what I've done. It's already done. Now, I want you to leave or I will call the security. Come on, Jackson, said Daniel. For old time's sake. Look, I'm finally letting go of the past. I'm looking to the future. This is a town that has been wasting money on holiday festivities and tourism on the Salem witch trials, which were in the past. I'm making this town better. What, for you? Yes, for me.
Jackson, said Winifred, please, come to your senses. Holidays is what draws our town together.
Look, I want you to go now. I'm not changing my mind about anything. You know you won't get elected mayor next year if you keep this up. Well, I don't care either. I just wanted to be rid of this holiday. I might even leave this town next year by any chance. Fine. Suit yourself. But you're the one that's alienating yourself right now. Yes, of course. Then, future Jackson notices a pain in his chest. He then drops his brandy glass and collapses to the ground, having a heart attack. Daniel, Dana, and Winifred go up to him, asking what's wrong. They then say, call an ambulance. I think he's having a heart attack. Then, Jackson, struggling to breathe as his heart attack gets worse, he then looks at his past self as Jackson of now is looking at his future self, as if they're making eye contact. Then, future Jackson drops dead. I think it's too late. He's dead. No, this can't be. Spirit, please, why are you showing me this? If I'm beyond repair, why are you showing me these shadows? He then sees himself at a graveyard where he sees not many people attend the funeral. Just Daniel and Winifred. He then looks and says, no one else is coming? The funeral director then says, is there no one else attending this funeral? Well, he distanced himself from his parents a long time ago, and I don't think he had any other family. Well, I guess the service should begin then. No, Spirit, please. Please. What if these are the shadows of not what will be, but what could be? Please, I know I can change. I see that now. I see everything. I've learned the error of my ways. Oh, please, Spirit, please. Please talk to me. The little skeleton spirit boy then removes his mask, revealing nothing but a skull, and then putting the mask back on. Going, no, please, please. I can change. Just give me that chance. Please give me that chance.
as he starts to cry. He then sees himself back in his house. Then his alarm goes off in his bedroom. He then looks at his phone and sees that it is October 31st, Halloween. He then says, "It's Halloween. Same day, same everything. This is it. This is my chance. I need to fix things." Then Jackson goes to work, where he wishes everybody a happy Halloween along the way. Mrs. Hatcher then comes in and says, "Oh, Mr. Pide, what are you doing here early?" "I thought I'd come in early. You know how much I like to work my way out of this holiday." "Tell me, Mrs. Hatcher, how long have you been working for me?" About 6 months." 6 months. "And you've never told me your personal issues, have you? Why you wanted the job as my secretary?" "Well, I have my reasons." "Yes, you do have your reasons. And therefore, I'm going to raise your salary." "What?" "And I'm going to make sure your son, little Timmy, gets the best health care in the world." "Really? I haven't told you about my son." "Of course you haven't. Now, please, go be with your family. I don't want to see you until tomorrow, and we'll talk about raising your money and what I can do to help your family." "Oh, thank you, Mr. Pide. Thank you very much." "Of course. Happy Halloween." Then the local comes in and says, Mr. Pide, yes, of course. Listen, the whole thing about me cutting the Halloween funds and everything so you can have your Halloween carnival next year, you know what? You can have it. In fact, you can have it funded every year by the council. And you know what? I'm going to try for mayor. And when I am mayor, I'm going to make sure everybody has the goddamn best Halloween this town can ever give. Really? What changed your mind? Oh, I just came to my senses. I had some people see me. Just go and enjoy the holiday. Then Daniel arrives, saying, Daniel, my old friend. Yes. What? Yes, I'd love to come to your Halloween party, but I didn't invite you yet. Of course, you didn't. But I would really like to come. That is if you will have me. Of course, yes, absolutely. Great. I better get myself a costume as well. Obviously not a clown, because that's what you're dressing as. What? How do you know what I... Never mind, go on, go. I'll see you later. Halloween. Oh, I'm in such good spirits. He then finishes off the day and gets a devil costume on. A little last minute as all the good costumes were sold out of the store, but still, I'm sure I look devilish enough. He then goes to Daniel's Halloween party. As he's on the way there, he wishes all the trick-or-treaters and everybody a happy Halloween. Some kids throw eggs and toilet paper. He then goes, very nice, but I would prefer a trick or a treat. Whatever, happy Halloween! He then attends the party, where everyone is stunned to see him. He then mingles and talks with everybody. Even patches things up with Jake's parents saying, oh, listen, I've never really processed my grief of my good friend. I just wish he could be with us right now. In fact, I think he probably is. We just can't see him. He was a good friend, and I'm sad that he was taken from us so soon. All the things that he never got to experience, but he's in our hearts. Jake's parents then say, we never blamed you for anything. It was just a tragic accident. I know. But as long as we remember the good times, of course.
Then Jack goes up to Winifred and says, "Winnie?" "Oh, hi, Jack. You're in good spirits." "I know I am. I've took a good long look at myself and, well, can I sit with you and talk?" "Okay, yes." "Listen, I need to tell you about this crazy thing that's happened to me." Later on, as the evening goes on, Winifred then says, "So you got visited by Jake and three ghosts, a green witch, a jack-o'-lantern, and a boy dressed as a skeleton that didn't talk."
Well, he wasn't just dressed as a skeleton, he was a skeleton too.
"But it made me see the error of my ways. I've not been a great man, and I want to be. So I'm just wondering if you would consider going on a date with me." "A date?" "Yeah. That's if you're not seeing anyone else." "Well, there was this one guy, but it didn't work out. But there's never been anyone else, Jack."
"Never?"
"No." "Who was this one guy?" "Well, I married him, and I thought I couldn't get through to him because he hated the holiday." "Oh, Winifred, if only I could turn back the clock, but we can only learn from the past." "Of course."
And Jackson were better than his word. He did all he said and more. The following year he was mayor of Salem and hosted a Halloween ball, even the Halloween costume competition, and was overjoyed, dressed as a devil. He was saying, "Happy Halloween, everybody, and have fun," changing the views of his ways. And also, for the Hatcher family, their little son, Timmy, got better and had the best treatment ever and recovered from his cancer illness and got to dress up as Wolverine that following year, and also hosted a Halloween party at his own house where he was celebrating with everybody, saying, "Well, Daniel's hosted it enough times, I feel that he could do with a break from the party planning and I could take care of it." He then says,
Winifred's here.
"Excuse me, everybody,
I just have an announcement to make." He taps a glass and then gets everybody's attention and thanks everybody for coming to his Halloween party.
And then he says, "Now, I have just one thing I want to ask." He then gets down on one knee and presents a ring to Winifred, saying, "Winifred, will you make me the happiest devil alive and marry me again?"
Winifred then looks and says,
"Oh, Jackson, of course I will." He then puts the ring on his finger and the two kiss, and everybody applauds them and congratulates him. And they all get back to their Halloween celebration. And the following year after that, they have a Halloween-themed wedding in the center of Salem, and everybody applauds, and they all celebrate Halloween in good spirits. As for the spirits, Jake then says, "I knew we could get through to him. I knew it." Then Jake sees a light and goes, "It's about time. I'm off, guys. See ya. Happy Halloween." The three spirits that visited Jackson then go, "Happy Halloween."
"Oh, isn't this nice? We've saved someone. Good job, you all. I mean, it only seems like seconds since we visited him, but of course time moves differently in the spirit world. What's only been 2 hours for us has been 2 years for him."
"Yes, that's right, and I've had, well, another sibling go as the spirit of Halloween present with a different pumpkin shape on his head.
Well, it's a shame my life is very brief on this world, 'cause it's pretty cool, but I know my sibling next year will do just as good. The little spirit of Halloween future also looks and puts a thumb up. And even opens his bag as he walks up to people as they can see him and offers him candy. As for Jackson and Winifred, they dance the first dance as husband and wife together, and everyone is happy as it is Halloween.